Everybody says buy once, cry once. But what happens when a lower cost optic starts doing things surprisingly well? This is the Gideon Optic Omega with a 3 MOA, 45 MOA circle. Picked this up, and after running it a lot harder than I expected, I realized something uncomfortable. Some optics are charging premium prices mostly because of their reputation. Does that mean this optic beats some of the big names out there? No. But it does raise some interesting questions. And later in the video, I'm going to show the exact moment was that this optic stopped feeling like a budget option and started feeling legitimately usable. Welcome back to Glockaholic76. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like this video at the end, hit that like button. It helps us get seen by more people just like you. Today we're breaking down the Gideon Optic Omega. It's a 3 MOA dot with a 45 MOA circle, green. There you go. You can get a nice look at it there. Whether the optic is generally underrated or it's just another internet hype cycle. Most people see an optic like this and immediately assume one of two things. It's either a hidden gem or there's no way I trust my life or use that in any type of real competition. Real world shooting usually lives somewhere in the middle. What matters is your window clarity, your reticle speed, your durability, and whether the optic disappears when you shoot it. And what I mean by that is your border around your optic, your casing, is that distracting or is your focus solely on your dot? This optic disappears and you're able to just focus on your target. Because the best optics don't consistently remind you that they exist, they become invisible. And I think the Gideon Omega accomplishes that. In a minute or so, I'm going to explain why the 45 MOA circle reticle completely changed how fast this optic felt on the range and when the speed of acquiring the target actually mattered. Currently, I have this on a Glock 22 40 Smith & Wesson. This is a 9mm conversion barrel, though, and I will use this at the range because this barrel is thicker, and I just put a lot of 9mm through this particular pistol. I think it just shoots flatter for me, and it does the job. I originally picked this optic up because I wanted to know if this budget optic market that was out there had finally evolved. I came across Gideon, watched a few videos like a lot of us have, liked what they were made of. I liked what I heard. I liked what I saw. I liked what they were saying they were trying to do. Honestly, I think a lot of shooters just get tired of spending premium money for every single accessory, and Gideon's price points are definitely more of a budget-friendly option. Their technology, although it might be a little bit older, not the latest and the greatest, it still does the job. I really didn't think much of it when I purchased it, but after putting a lot of rounds downrange, that thought has changed. The reticle was faster to pick up than I expected. The window was very, very, very usable, a lot more than I even expected, and I think the optic just tracked through recoil much, much better than I expected. I'm going to explain the one area where the premium optics, I think, still clearly separate themselves from somebody like Gideon or this particular optic in a bit. Here's something a lot of new shooters don't realize. Modern pistol optics used to be considered unreliable gimmicks. Modern pistols have since adopted your optic plates and whatnot, but people generally did not trust optics. And now we've reached a point where it's completely the opposite. And even mid-tier optics are becoming surprisingly capable. And the technology has advanced to a point where these things are everywhere. And to make a pistol in today's modern day Without an optic plate, you might as well just throw it right in the garbage because it's not what people are looking for. Optic has a 45 MOA circle, which gives you a very, very large circle, larger than some of the other ones out there. So it's very easy to acquire. That is especially interesting because it gives you that visual reference that your eye naturally wants to center. And for fast shooting, that matters a lot. Let's run through the basics real quick. Mentioned it's a 3 MOA dot with a 45 MOA circle. This is in green. The footprint, RMR pattern, compatibility. The window, it's just a wide open emitter design. The brightness settings, there's multiple daylight settings. The battery is always a plus when it's a side loading battery, but this one has the battery inside the footprint, which is fine. It does the job, keeps it from being bulky on the sides. The window itself, the first thing I noticed is the size. I don't have suppressor height sights, so there's really no co-witness option here, which I'm not looking for on this pistol just yet. But if I wanted to, maybe I would put something that was a little taller on there so I could co-witness. With that 45 MOA circle, it makes that close-up range target acquisition feel really fast. And for shooters who sometimes lose the dot under stress, I think that helps also a lot. The green reticle is bright enough for outdoors, and honestly, I think the green dot tends to work extremely well for certain shooters, especially with an astigmatism. The dot is almost too bright at times where I have to kind of lower it down. I don't think I've ever said it wasn't bright enough, which is a good thing. The controls, they're straightforward. You just have your there's no weird learning curve or anything like that. There's no unnecessary complexity. You have your up, down, and then you're off. It's just very, very simple. And it does it feel like a refined top tier optic? No. Does it feel like it's cheap? No. And I think that's an important distinction. The biggest pro with this would be, like I mentioned, the reticle speed. This optic for me just feels fast. I really was impressed with it. The biggest con is that long-term durability. It still has not proven itself long enough for me over time. However, for what I use it for, it works fine, and I've had no issues. And I think that's where the premium optics have an advantage, but this is slowly moving into that category, especially for the price difference. A few hundred rounds, the optic has held zero without any issues. Once again, the reticle, it stays easy to reacquire. There's no flickering, no going off or on. Didn't affect accuracy at all. No shutdowns, no zero shifts, and that's where a lot of cheaper optics tend to fail. And this does the job. Didn't come flying off. It stays mounted. No issues there. No problem when I was adjusting it. These are tactile. They do the job for your elevation and your windage. The optic just made shooting this particular pistol fun. And that matters, I think, more than people would really like to admit, because if your gear makes you want to train more, that's valuable in itself. This optic surprised me, and honestly, that's probably the biggest compliment I can give it. It punches way above its price point. It just does the job. Would I buy it again? Yes, because it has proved that it can do the job. Still need a lot more testing, I think, to make sure, but I'm comfortable with it at a point right now. And I think because one thing it's proving is that the optic market is changing so fast, and shooters now have a lot more good options than ever before at a much better price point and a much better variety, which in turn helps the entire market because it'll cause more of that competition and some of these prices for these optics, which cost more than the pistols in a lot of these situations, come down. If you found this video helpful and you want to see more Glockaholic 76, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. And if you like this video, like it. If you didn't, don't. But either way, let me know in the comments. Would you trust one of these newer budget optics for carry, or are the premium optics still worth the extra money, and why? I'd love to hear your reasoning behind it. As always, I appreciate you watching. Train smart, shoot often, stay ready. Glockaholic 76. Talk to you soon.